Yo, what's up? Alright guys, just gonna let this one go. Now, if you saw the title, Nut Riders. What are we gonna do about them? There's really nothing you can do. But you can make sure that you never become one. Okay? Now, most real men, most guys that have decent looking girlfriends, most guys that get pussy, will never have a problem with nut riding. That said, it is an epidemic that is sweeping the gun culture, the gun community, whatever. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anyone with a lot of followers starts to accumulate nut riders. Now, if we'll have to define the term nut rider. The term nut rider. Okay. Have you ever had a friend? Have you ever had a friend that when you go to a strip club or when you went to a strip club when you were a young man, they were the guy that always thought the stripper really did like them? Okay, when everyone else kind of knows the game that you're playing, and whatever, she's gonna act like what, blah blah blah, but you know the game, right? You're handing her money, therefore she acts like she likes you. Therefore, we all have good time, yeah, whatever, and we leave. But you always have that friend who swears, nah, man, we have a connection, like, I'm going to take her home tonight, or what, okay, never ends up happening, okay. That is a nut rider. That is a gullible person. That is someone who immediately makes a false connection with someone and believes that if they are nice enough, if they ride nuts hard enough, if they buy enough merch, if they ride nuts in the comments hard enough, if they come to that person's defense anytime someone says anything, that then maybe that instructor, maybe that YouTube personality, maybe that Instagram fucker will actually, go home with them that night. That's the general definition of a nut rider. Then it gets into full-on nut swingers. Okay, if you're full-on swinging off the nuts of another man, all hope is lost. Okay, some people they go to the strip club a couple times. They realize, oh, it's all bullshit, right? Oh, I get it. I get it. Pfft, okay, I was a dumbass. It's all bullshit. I get it. Shame on me. Fool me once, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nut swingers will go through tens of thousands of dollars and never realize the game, okay? Nut swingers are full-on nut swingers, okay? Now, nut riders are they're pretty much just as bad, and it's an epidemic. It's going through, and it's something that we should all strive to not engage with, okay? If you're gonna comment or disagree with certain YouTubers or certain instructors or whatever, or both, just do yourself a favor and don't bother, because the Nut Rider Nation is going to come down on you. And at the end of the day, sure, you can sit back and say, oh, look at this bunch of Nut Riders. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it leaves you kind of feeling like, ooh, just it's unbecoming to watch a man, swing off the nuts of another man. It's just kind of crazy. It's weird, and it just doesn't feel good for anybody. But it's just an epidemic. What we want to do is, with this video, is hopefully we'll catch a couple people in that beginning stage where they're like just on the line of starting to ride some nuts, and we can steer them back off and say, hey, okay, let's stop riding them nuts. Let's start using our brain. Because no matter how high profile, no matter how highly respected, no matter how many people the guy is shot in the face, no matter who he is, he can always be wrong, and his way of doing things may not be the best way for you. So if we want to think critically about every ounce of information that we get, we can't do that if we're riding nuts, because if we're riding nuts, as soon as someone says something, we're just going to take that as gospel and run with it. Okay, and this doesn't just happen with instructors, but it's the most detrimental, I believe, with instructors, because there's so much good technique and stuff out there on the table. That they take things from this guy or this guy or this guy or whoever their giver of the D is. They take that information from them and they just dismiss any opposing information, any contradicting information, anything else that could be of use to them. As we all know, if you take 10 really good shooters, or 10 shooters in any way, they're going to do things differently. Each one of them is going to have different ways of doing things. Each instructor is going to have different ways of explaining things. And this instructor might have a small tweak of a technique that opens a door for you, and the light bulb comes on. If you're riding nuts, you're never going to, because you're always going to be kind of looking at that other instructor like, well, he's not as good as Jim Bob. You know, Jim Bob's my man, and he wouldn't tell me to do something wrong. And for the most part, some of the bigger YouTube guys and whatever with these followings, they're a net positive, okay? I agree with most of what they say. It's just, I never agree with anyone 100%. Even the guys that I'm fairly close to that are big name instructors that I talk to, that I could text right now and bullshit about a thing that I'm having trouble with, or a technique that I figured out or something. Even them that I respect highly, I still disagree with them. I mean, shit. If I'm critically thinking, I have to disagree with people. And this doesn't just happen with instructors. Like I said, it happens with YouTube people. And the worst thing is when like YouTubers do these experiments. And the nut riders of that YouTuber will take their experiment. Okay, one YouTuber does an experiment. Okay, that's one sample size of one experiment that it did with this and this and this. Well, a nut rider will take the results of that experiment, and just talk about them the rest of their life as pure fact, as true as gravity. This is what's going to happen if you do this and this and this. Okay? When 20 other YouTube channels did that same experiment and got 19 different results, maybe you should get a compilation of material before you start taking things as 100% fact. Okay, I'll just end it at that. I could talk about this for a long time. It's pretty comical, but it really is a serious thing. We have to stop riding them nuts, start using them brains, and really compile sources, really start experimenting, trying things for ourselves, and get as much information as possible. But try the information. Don't just let the shit come in and then go out. Actually jot it down. If you think it's something that'll help you, jot it down, take it to the range, experiment with it, try it, figure it out, see if it works for you. Just don't ride nuts. It's so weird and just unbecoming to see a grown man ride another grown man's nuts for all to see on the internet. And it's just awful. Right? So, take her easy.